Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. PsychicTarot.ca, book your tarot reading and unlock your spiritual journey. And the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good afternoon and hello, kids and cubs, and welcome to a special True North Eager Beaver report. I am your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A, and with me, thankfully, at this moment, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. A big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Pepper Master, the Miss V Mysteries from Corbin Moon Publishing, and PsychicTarot.ca. Kids and cubs, how's your mental health doing today? Mine, as you can imagine, not the best, but pretty good considering the circumstances, I guess. As you may know, as you may have heard, there has been a code red called in the state of Jalisco here and in a couple of other places in Mexico because it would appear that the drug cartels are at war, for all intents and purposes, with the federal government. And here, from the best I can gather here, would be an article from the New York Times that has come up, but I will bring to you maybe a little in a little bit. That's somebody sent to me. I'm doing this really on the fly, kids and cubs. Sorry, it's not going to be as smooth as what I regularly do here. I will be looking for stuff on the fly. But yes, this morning we were packing and getting ready to leave. We had a flight scheduled around 1 o'clock. And so I was watching the hockey game on the Damn Fam Discord with everyone. And the sky looked pretty cloudy and smoggy, which was an interesting sky my beaver sweetie had noticed. And we got a notice from the airline that our flight was delayed because there was something wrong with the plane, as there was a case coming in. Therefore, the plane wouldn't arrive here on time, therefore would not leave on time. And we would be leaving around 6 something this evening, or closer to 7 rather than 1. So we were thinking, yay, bonus beach time. We wrote to our host where we are staying and asked if we could store our luggage somewhere for a couple of hours because we were going to be able to leave before we needed to check out, and with the change in flights that had changed. And he said yes. And then not too long later, we received a message from him that was stating that there was some type of cartel activity going on, and that was the first we had heard of it. We did not know what the reason for the smog like sky was here. And so that's how we kind of found out that there was something going on here. And basically, he stated here that uh, you know, we could stay where we are for now, while the code red was on at least. His reply was, "Hi, due to the ongoing situation with the cartels, you can stay in the unit as long as you need to. They are burning buses and cars, and there will probably be shootings. Please stay inside until it is resolved." We were hearing sounds of things that could have been gunshots, but then again, could have just been tires exploding because there's something here called a narco bloqueros, narco blockades, where they will use taxis and buses and um, basically park them in the middle of the street and light them on fire to stop people from being able to go through. Um, uh, all taxi and ride sharing services had been suspended because it would seem that in situations like this, they are particularly targeted. We heard something, and that's the problem with this, is that we do not know what is real, what is fake, what is clickbait, what is AI. But we had heard that there was one taxi driver in particular who was shot, and passengers in the car were not. But the car was set on fire, and all of their luggage, passports, and stuff like that burned along with that. So, whether that's true or not, we have no way of knowing. Where we are staying, the television here is hooked up to things like Netflix and Tubi, but not to any local news stations. So it's hard to get some local news. Of course, all the news is in Spanish. So the best that we have here are um, um, uh, the Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts of the mayor, of the governor of the state, of the official airport group, things of the like. And well, those are not coming in um, fast and furious, of course, as alerts. We don't actually officially know right now if the red alert, the code red, is actually still in effect or it's been lifted, because we cannot find that information. It's been pretty tricky to find. So according to Kid Michael here, who has sent us an article from the New York Times, it says here, and this is according to, take a look, Paulina Villegas and Jack Nicas, reporting from Mexico City. The Mexican government said it killed the nation's most wanted cartel boss on Sunday, a major victory in its new offensive against the country's criminal groups. And hold on, because now there's a pop-up that has just come up to block it. It was supposed to be a gift article that was shared with us, and it turns out that that is not indeed the case. So hold on, I'll see if I can bring it up differently. And of course not, I can't. So yeah, I'm guessing it's not a gift article. Oh, maybe I can try this link here instead. That might be the gift article. I might have clicked on the wrong one. All right, yes. The Mexican government said it killed the nation's most wanted cartel boss on Sunday, a major victory in its new offensive against the country's criminal groups, and a move that could help reduce, pardon my language, clearly not a gift article. And so I cannot get it for you here. Apparently, I guess it was a gift article to them, but not they can't transfer it. So okay, let's again. I'm sorry. Highly, again, once again, unprofessional. Okay, according to Mexico News Daily, this is what I have here. Governments of various Mexican states, as well as the United States, Canada, and various other countries, have issued shelter-in-place orders and other security alerts in the wake of the death of Jalisco New Generation Cartel (CING) leader Namiso El Mencho Oseguera Cervantes in a federal law enforcement operation in Jalisco, which is the state in which we are currently situated. In Jalisco, Governor Pablo Lemos issued a code red advising state residents to stay inside due to ongoing security incidents. Blockades and acts of arson have been reported around the state, with the most significant incidents reported in Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. The governor of the neighboring state of Nayarit, Miguel Angel Navarro, issued a similar warning calling on residents to shelter in their homes. Governors of Michoacan, Colima, and Tamaulipas reported blockades and acts of arson. They did not issue shelter-in-place warnings, but called on residents to check official sources for updates and avoid spreading misinformation. Government of Guanajuato reported in the early afternoon local time that blockades in that state had been contained and no longer presented a risk to residents. Alerts from various foreign embassies remained active as of 3 p.m. today. U.S. Embassy in Mexico said on Twitter that, quote, due to ongoing security operations in multiple states and related road blockages and criminal activity, U.S. citizens, but I guess that's everyone, should shelter in place in the named locations until further notice. Those locations, the embassy said, are Jalisco State, including Puerto Vallarta, Chapala, and Guadalajara, Tamaulipas State, including Reynosa and other municipalities, areas of Michoacan State, Guerrero State, and Nuevo León State. The U.S. Embassy also listed various actions to take, including be aware of your surroundings, avoid areas around law enforcement activity, and seek shelter and minimize unnecessary movements. In a message to Canadian citizens, the Canadian government said that a shelter-in-place order is in effect in Puerto Vallarta. If you are in Jalisco State, please keep a low profile and follow advice of local authorities, said opposed to the Canadian government's travel advice on the jitter. United Kingdom's embassy in Mexico noted on the same platform that the UK's travel advice for Mexico had been updated with, quote, new information on security incidents across the state of Jalisco. That advice warns against, quote, all but essential travel to the area south and southwest of Lake Chapala to the border with the state of Colima. It also warns against travel to 11 municipalities in northern Jalisco. Among the other countries that issued security alerts to their citizens in Mexico were Australia and India. Quote, Australians in Mexico, be aware of security incidents and roadblocks occurring across multiple states, including, and then all those states that have been mentioned as well. Take precautions, monitor media, and follow the advice of local authorities. In a post directed to all Indian nationals in Mexico, the Indian Embassy offered the same advice as the U.S. Embassy. So not particularly very informative as an article here. Where we are, we did see there was 7 different fires around the area that people were able to count based on what I've been able to see online. Advised, of course, not to go to restaurants, bars, and nightclubs, of course, because those things can happen, events can happen there, and it becomes very easily to become, a statistical innocent bystander. Going any place where crowds are gathered is probably not recommended at the time. So yeah, also it would seem that that there have been fires around the local Costco, if not the actual Costco being on fire. There's a chain of convenience stores here called OXXO, OXXO. A lot of them have been set on fire, so I do not know if there's a deliberate attempt to try to restrict people's ability to get food. during these events. As far as we are concerned, uh, we are safe. Um, we are still in the same place that we were supposed to check out of. We do not know how long we will be able to stay here. We assume that nobody will be coming in to take over because the airport here has been closed completely. The one in Guadalajara as well. There have been some reports, at least online, of people being taken hostage and people uh, going into hotels to try to take some American hostages. Again, that could be disinformation. It quite possibly is. From what we know, typically cartels try to leave tourists out of it, even though, um, again, you could be an innocent bystander. However, um, there have been some issues, as you know, with people that worked in mines in the Sinaloa area. Some people have gone missing, and a couple of people have been murdered with regard to that situation. Um, there's also some stuff going on online. Again, hard to know if it's fake or not, but pictures of the organization with claims that they would be going after tourists if they saw them. Again, that could also be fake news. Um, it's really hard to find out what is true and what is not, to be totally honest. There are some images going around, for example, of the airport of Guadalajara where the planes have been set on fire. That we have been be able to ascertain is fake news because the government of the state of Jalisco had posted uh, on their Twitter feed photos about that, deeming them false and asking people to please not spread false information during this time. And some of the pictures um, were the same. Those are the ones that we saw spreading, indicating that airports had planes that had actually been set on fire. So that one we know for sure is fake. It would seem that there was some activity, cartel activity at the airport in Guadalajara, and that people there were sheltering in place. There had been reports that there was some activity here at the airport of Puerto Vallarta, where the cartels had come in. The group of Pacifico airports put out a release maybe about 2 hours ago stating that things at the airport itself were fine, that nothing had been damaged or vandalized or broken over there. It would seem that the airport here in Puerto Vallarta is very close to a uh, Mexican military or defense installation, so it has been protected, which is a relief. Our particular airline um, has rescheduled us for departure, but the departure rescheduled date is March 3rd, which is quite a few number of days from now. That was at the time the best report, that at least that was claimed to us on the phone when we talked to them. The latest report that they had got from the airport in Puerto Vallarta, that it would not be operational until at least the 1st, and they booked us on the 3rd. If nothing terrible has happened at the airport, we suspect that that might be changed. But right now, we are looking at the possibility that we might have to stay here an extra about 12 days. And we don't know if we'll actually be able to stay here for the next 12 days. Again, we suspect that nobody's coming in to take the place because there's no flights in uh, at the present. But if the airport is opened again, and flights are allowed back in before the date that we've been rescheduled, and then there's a chance of that. Um, if that happens and everything has been taken under control, we would be able to stay with a friend here who stays here seasonally and is here for another 3 weeks. So that would be good. However, we really do not know. The airline company did tell us over the phone that if the airport opened sooner and flights were leaving sooner, they could find a way to reschedule us sooner. Again, we don't know. We don't know. Right now, we are acting as if the code red is still on. Uh, we have we're okay for water. Um, we have a little bit of food in the form of we have a little bit of chocolate. We have some nacho chips, a touch of guacamole, a bit of watermelon, um, and that is about it. So that won't last us too long. Um, and if we need to go get food, well, clearly we're not going to be going dine out in a restaurant because that would leave us a sitting duck. We assume that restaurants probably wouldn't even be open given the uh, shelter in place order, and we don't know if we would be able to go to any corner stores that are not a chain store, whether or not they would still be open, and whether or not they would be open today. So right now, we do not know also what we were going to be doing for food, and since we're having trouble to find out whether or not the code red is still in effect and for how long, and getting any estimates for that, we don't actually know how long we will be asked to shelter in place with no ability to acquire food at the moment. Um, Looking out on the streets from the balcony, we have not seen any pedestrians anywhere doing anything. We did hear a vehicle kind of rev up to take off just as we were starting the show. I heard a comment from some people where we're staying, talking to other people on the phone, indicating that they had the impression that some back to life had started, but there's nothing of that we can detect. We don't have that sense ourselves. Um, we do have a to-go bag prepared in case we do need to leave very quickly and leave everything else behind. Um, except for water, we're there. We've done the safety things, like, for example, um, um, taking images of our passports and sending them to family members in case something should happen, that we lose them or that they're taken from us. Um, we are fortunately not staying at a chain hotel or anything of the sort. If that would be a target. So fortunately, and not that. But it appears that certain Airbnbs and stuff like that have indeed been targeted. Again, we don't know if that's true or not. As for the convenience stores, I had been talking about to one person, fellow Canadian who was here, who did see um, the store being set on fire. So that part we know is real. Um, so yeah, it's a school has been closed, declared closed tomorrow by the governor of the state. Um, at least for tomorrow, at least as a security measure. Um, so yeah, it's we are keeping calm, but we are concerned. We are trying not to panic. At one point this afternoon, before I was going to start the show, originally this hit because I was trying to do it at 3:45. The power went out, which I will admit did cause my heart to skip a few beats. because the power going out often can be a very bad sign of things to come. Fortunately, it came back on about 3 or 4 minutes later. When it did, something went beep, and I'm clearly a little nervous because I was startled and I jumped when that happened. So I am doing my best to keep calm and to present a face of calm, particularly for my sweetie, who apparently is dealing with this better than I am, which is actually a surprise because he usually is the more nervous and worrying one. Uh, but I guess living your first 12 years of your life in a communist country where things happen, um, as he said, he's surprised, but he sort of has a, well, if the worst happens, the worst happens kind of attitude. And wouldn't be surprised, and I guess um, uh, not. I mean, not something that I would like, but not something that he's going to panic about. In that sense, uh, I guess he said, I guess when your formative years were spent always fearing that the worst can happen, when something like this kind of takes place, it's sort of like, it's just another thing. For me, this is very, 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 very new experience. So I know that panicked thinking clouds judgment and does not help with uh, being creative enough to find creative solutions if you need them. So again, I am doing my best to try to keep calm, but I will not lie. Um, Internally, I am shaken. I am nervous. Um, yeah, I don't. I really don't know what to make of this situation. Um, we are registered with the embassy. There's no consulate in this particular area, but there is one in Guadalajara, I believe. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, it's um, it's absolutely weird, I have to say. Um, yeah, kid brains. I'm sure it's scary. It is and it isn't in the sense that we saw the fire, we heard the sounds. There have been gunshots. I don't know if there have been gunshots here. There has been reported uh, fire exchange between federal forces and the cartels. So that is a real thing. It has happened. We don't know if it has happened anywhere around where I am specifically. Um, um, yeah. So, like I said, a completely total and a new experience for me personally. Um, I think I am doing well considering the circumstances. I have not freaked out and I have not started to panic. I have not lost my temper or yelled with anybody that we have tried to get help from. I called my uh, phone service provider, Virgin, asking if they could give us a pass of some kind for making phone calls and that type of stuff. That we would not be charged an extra package or something because, well, we might have to be in constant information, in contact with family and the consulate and credit card companies and insurance and that type of stuff. And they don't have anything that they can do for us, which is actually quite surprising that there's nothing like that. Says, well, we can offer you our 14-day plan for $70, which we might have to take up. Uh, my Beaver Sweetie has an eSIM card that we've been using for data and stuff, but we do not actually know. And if anybody there has experience with an eSIM card, when we dial the number, it asks whether or not we want to use dial from our home country or dial from the roaming country. Um, I'm not sure which one to pick, and looking online for the information is actually pretty much impossible, again, to know for sure whether or not you're getting it. If anybody has used an eSIM card and knows that information and could let me know, that would be very helpful, because I would like to call the credit card company and ask them what we would do without incurring a multiple $100 bill, if possible, because I don't even know what the roaming rates are here. Yeah, it's a it's a very weird situation here. I'm gonna take a look here in the chat at Kits and Cubs and see what you have here. It says here that yesterday there was an assassination attempt that happened at Mar-a-Lago last night. I took a little look at that. It seems that someone had entered the perimeter with I think, a firearm and with some gas. The president was not there at the time. They were arrested. Um, they seem to have, for lack of a better word, an Anglo-Saxon name, so probably not related to anything that is going on here. Um, I'm not sure if there's any U.S. involvement with this action. From what I've been able to read, it seems to be a Mexican government thing. Specifically, I'm not sure there that there's any link whatsoever to what's going on in the United States with regard to this today. Somebody mentioned Dan Dix of Press for Truth. I did see a clip from him basically stating similar things to what we have here. Again, considering the source, not sure how much is true, not sure how much is not. I don't particularly see a reason if they are particularly here that there would be a need to exaggerate, because the situation here is tense enough. So, but yeah, um, we are safe, and we are in a place where we are indeed keeping our heads down. We have not been out for any reason whatsoever here. Miss Kid Miss, by the way, happy belated birthday. I hope it was fantastic. Says the universe is testing me. Yeah, I'm trying to maintain a sense of humor about it. I said a couple of times today, if the universe has a public complaints department and a way to get your money and your time back, I would like to be filling out paperwork right now, because the getting here part of this trip was a real experience. The leaving here part of the trip is a real experience. By the way, on the getting here part of the trip, it seems that the engine in the car is completely done. So we might have to buy a new engine or a new car. Uh, uh, so it's becoming an expensive trip, particularly if we do have to stay here another 12 days and have to pay for lodging for another 12 days, which is why I'm hoping to reach the credit card company, because, of course, this is a situation that is out of control of the airline, and therefore it is our responsibility. Um, so, yeah, we're getting dinged. Of course, as you also know, on the 5th day of our trip, my Beaver sweetie had an accident while snorkeling, where a wave threw him into some rocks, where he had some pretty bad abrasions that needed to be cleaned, and pieces of coral that were lodged in his body, and some minor surgery had to be performed. Fortunately, they didn't have to use a scalpel, but there was some IV lidocaine and antibiotics, and going in with some needles and trying to fish stuff out, and they were at it pretty much close to 2 hours, and that came with a $3,600 bill, Canadian. We did have travel insurance for that, so hopefully that will kick in, but we did have to pay it up front. Yeah, it's I will be honest. This vacation has not been one. Not restful in any particular way, shape, or form. Um, I didn't want to bore you with all the details, but there was one day where we just couldn't get money out of the ATM at all. I think it was our second, third day here, and it took us 3 or 4 hours um, to figure out with our bank how to do that and how to get it fixed. We did get it fixed eventually, but that was uh, another day of vacation lost, figuring that out. Um, there have been, it has been trying and very, very, I have been tested and uh, I will admit I'm not happy. It's been tough. It's been really tough. Uh, Fortunately, the only thing that hasn't happened, which is good, is that there has been no food incidents that have caused an allergic reaction on my part. That's about the only good thing so far that has happened. But yeah, it is. It's been a test. It has been a test. There's been other things that have gone wrong. Some of them, most of them minor. But at one point, they kind of just sort of accumulate, and you just wonder, like, can we just effing get a break? So yeah, it has not been easy. I basically uh, need a vacation from my vacation. If I'm gonna be totally honest, um, just taking a look at some more of your chat stuff here. It will be a holiday to remember for Mr. Beaver. Yes, this one's going to be hard to forget. Let's see what else. Yeah, exactly. See, Kitavi G, you will need a vacation from your vacation. You've been reading my mind. Uh, uh, let's see what else do we have here. Saw the pictures of the burning buses. Yeah, one of the burning buses, like I said, literally was within a 5-minute walk from here. And um, as you know, we've had to change locations a couple of times since we were here. At the second location where we were, it was literally a stone's throw away, like literally walk out the door, and we would have been able to see it. So we're a little further away than that. So that's at least a good thing. We weren't too affected by the fumes because that's a really weird fuel smell when you have burning gas is definitely something. Katavi G here saying which paper we can look for ourselves. It was the New York Times, and apparently it was like really hidden down deep in a section, not up and out there, and very prominent for people to be able to find. I did write to the friend that sent it to me to indicate that we weren't able to access it, and hopefully um, they might be able to resend it, and we might be able to get that to you and be able to read it ourselves. Um, Taking another look at stuff. I'm just going to take a look to see if there's any updates from some of the official government sources. It would seem that last night there had been an alert that had been put out. Specifically, the mayor of the region had put it out, and my beaver sweetie had been reading the comments, and a lot of the comments were particularly angry and upset that the alert came out because there was no news of anything that had actually transpired at the moment. So people were thinking it was a bit of a false alarm, and that they were just trying to keep people panicked for nothing. Turns out it was not a false alarm in any way, shape, or form. So, but yeah, that has taken place here. Going to take a look here at the Globe and Mail. Craig McEachern shared an article here on Twitter with regard to that. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that to you as well. It says here, computer's being a little finicky. Come on, work with the day. See if I can get some information. See, it's really weird. It says that the article from the New York Times is an unlocked article, even in my web browser, but it does not seem that it actually is, which is kind of interesting. But I will go look at it again. Maybe the pop-up that was appearing was not paywalling it. Maybe it was just a regular sort of pop-up that can be made to disappear. According to the Globe and Mail's Christy Kirkup, says here, the Canadians in Puerto Vallarta should shelter in place and keep a low profile because of escalating violence in Mexico, Global Affairs Canada said in a new travel advice on Sunday. In an updated advisory, the department said Canadians in Jalisco state, which includes the popular travel destinations of Puerto Vallarta, should monitor media to stay informed of the situation on the ground. Videos being posted on social media show smoke over the city of Puerto Vallarta and people running through the airport after it was reported Mexico's army killed the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, Nemismo Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho. A federal official in Mexico told the Associated Press the killing happened during a military operation in the western state of Jalisco. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand did not mention the cartel leader, but Canada is monitoring, quote, a serious and rapidly evolving security situation in Jalisco state. Quote, we are deeply alarmed by reports of violence following a major security operation, including armed clashes, roadblocks, and vehicles set on fire in multiple areas. We are aware that local authorities have issued shelter-in-place orders in some locations, and the situation remains fluid. Safety and security of Canadians abroad remains the government's priority, and the updated travel advisory was issued for this reason, Ms. Anand added. Quote, global affairs officials are in close contact with local authorities and partners and stand ready to provide consular assistance to Canadians in the region. The U.S. Embassy and consulates in Mexico issued a similar travel advisory, and mentioning all the other states that I had mentioned before, Tamaulipas, Michoacan, Guerrero, Nuevo León. So there. Several flights were suspended by airlines on Sunday. Air Canada said Sunday on the social media platform Twitter it has temporarily halted operations in Puerto Vallarta. The airline said it is monitoring the situation and is in contact with local authorities who are working to resolve the issue. It also advised customers not to go to the airport unless their flight is shown to be operating on the Air Canada website. Again, in a post, the governor, Pablo Lemos Nevo, said officials are reiterating the recommendation for citizens to stay home, adding more information would be provided about unfolding events. In its travel advice available on Global Affairs Canada, it says criminal groups, including drug cartels, quote, are very active across Mexico, and clashes over territory, drug, and smuggling routes are common. Quote, armed clashes between security forces and drug cartels can occur without warning, the advisory says. So that's basically all I have for that. Just taking a little bit more of a look here Um, the Embassy of Mexico in the United States is debunking some fake news articles by people like Laura Loomer and all of those who are taking advantage of this opportunity to try and get clicks. Ryan Voutilainen, who's a BC-based weather storm chaser and freelancer who documents weather events, also happens to be here and has been using whatever skills he has to, again, share information. So if you happen to be here from Canada, he's maybe a good feed to follow. He seems to have some good skills when it comes to this. Again, the government of Jalisco mentioning to be wary of deep fakes and false information and AI generated video clips of the sort. According to uncovered data, the particular cartel in question reportedly has a strong presence in 27 out of Mexico's 32 states. So yeah, there's stuff going on this morning when we heard there was either 21 different localities or something of the sort that where advisories had been put out, and I don't know if that has increased since then. Just trying to see here if that was in Spanish. My Spanish is not that good to be able to translate that. So yeah, for the moment, I believe that that's about all I have for you, kits and cubs. No actual other information for you. But yeah, at the moment, we are safe. I am trying to keep calm. My beaver sweetie is doing well. There are some neighbors here where we are, so hopefully, if food does become an issue, we'll be able to at least maybe get a little help from them. Everybody here seems to be willing to help out and willing to be kind, which is nice. So yeah, pretty good overall. It says here from the New York Times thing that I do have free access to the story, but it is blocking the entire screen so that I cannot read the story, which is very odd indeed. So yeah, kind of hard to figure out what is going on in terms of real-time alerts, and that in and of itself is a bit unnerving, because it would be nice to know if at least the immediate activities or operations to curtail what is going on are over. But there does not seem to be that information at the moment. Just going to take a look if I can see if there's any updates on this from the information from the governor of governor of Mexico, Pablo Lemos Navarro, because that's where I was able to find some information, at least at the beginning, that was helpful. All right, let's see here. See, all these documents are, I can see they're in Spanish, and I'm not able to, okay, this is from CONAGO. It says, let us reaffirm our commitment to peace, legality, and the security of Mexico. So yes, that is not having anything to do. I mean, it has to do with the events today, but it's not going to be an update on the situation here that can be helpful to us. Looking down on his feed here, let's see here. This okay. There's been an update since I last looked. So some more. Hopefully, it will translate here. Dear educational community, I share with you the official statement regarding the suspension of in-person classes for this Monday, February 23rd in all schools of basic education, upper secondary education, and teacher education under the responsibility of the Jalisco Secretariat of Education. Thank you for your attention. We will keep you informed through our official accounts. So, I mean, it gives you an idea of how bad the situation is, but does not help us specifically when it comes to finding out more as tourists. It says there's a message here from the President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo. The Secretariat of National Defense reported on the operation carried out this morning by federal forces, which resulted in various blockades and other reactions. There is absolute coordination with the governments of all states. We must remain informed and calm. The social media accounts of the Security Cabinet provide permanent updates in the vast majority of the national territory, and activities are proceeding with complete normality. My recognition to the Mexican Army, National Guard, Armed Forces, and Security Cabinet. We work every day for peace, security, justice, and the well-being of Mexico. So that's what we have basically from the president. We have the Security Cabinet of Mexico that says it is reported that approximately 20 branches of Banco del Bienestar in Jalisco sustained damages resulting from violent actions. The incidents occurred in various municipalities of the state and are already being addressed by the authorities with the aim of ensuring security and restoring service. So some banks, it would appear, have been targeted as well. From a while ago, this is about 4 hours ago, from the governor of the state. Since the first violent incidents, I have been in direct communication with the Secretary of Security and the Secretary General, Ricardo Tevilla, to establish a coordination protocol with the Federation. A few minutes ago, we had a new meeting, and there will be several more during the coming hours. My recognition to the federal forces for the operation implemented at Jalisco. We will continue working as a team to protect the citizens. Let's see if there was anything that followed that. Yes, there was a second tweet below, and that translated is, additionally, I have ordered the cancellation of massive events during Sunday throughout the entire state. So it's supposed to not have crowds gather to make them an appealing target. About 4 hours ago, says here, the security cabinet reports that the airports on Jalisco are operating normally. Passengers are taking their flights as scheduled and no relevant incidents are being recorded at the facilities. That, well, I guess you can say that I guess flights that are taking off, but like we've heard that the airports are closed. So that's a little interesting here as a note. But there are indeed flight cancellations at both the Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta airports. We know this because we have indeed been affected by that. So I'm not sure why that one was put out. Let's see, what else do we have? The initial thing that we saw from the governor of the state of Jalisco stated, and this was about 8 hours ago now, federal forces carried out an operation in Tapalpa a few hours ago, which has led to clashes in the area. Also, as a result of said operation in various points of that region and in other parts of Jalisco, individuals have burned and blocked vehicles with the aim of hindering the actions of the authorities. I've given the instruction to immediately establish the security coordination table with authorities from all 3 levels of government and to activate the red code or code red in order to prevent acts against the population. He goes on to say, I am currently leading the security table, which will be in permanent session. We are in coordination with the federal forces regarding the operation they are carrying out. We will continue to provide updates. And then continues on to say, public transportation services in the state will be suspended until this situation is under control. Then more to that. The blockades have shifted to territorial boundaries, even to neighboring federal entities. We are coordinating with the Federation and other state governments to provide support in safeguarding the citizenry. And there's 2 more here. This is from 6 hours ago, so a little more recent. We recommend not traveling on roads as the violent incidents have spread to at least 5 federal entities. We remain in full coordination with the Federation. And also, as of 6 hours ago, saying, we remain in Código Rojo, in Code Red. We reiterate the recommendation to avoid leaving your homes. The clashes are occurring in several federal entities. In a few moments, the Federation will provide official information about the events. So, yeah, that's what I have here from the governor. And let's see if I can look at the mayor and see if there's anything additional here with regard to that. The mayor is Luis Ernesto Munguia. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If we check out their feed here, let's see if there's anything that could be helpful. Okay, this is an expired account. So this is a more recent one. It is indeed more recent. Yeah, absolutely nothing on the Twitter feed. Take a look at the Facebook account to see if there's anything there with regard to that. Because that's where a lot of people started being rather upset. 14 minutes ago, so hopefully this is recent here. Notice to the citizens. From the first moment that knowledge of the facts registered this Sunday morning was received, the government of Puerto Vallarta activated security protocols and established immediate coordination with the state and federal authorities linked to a federal operation in Tapalpa, Jalisco. The municipal police and the Directorate of Civil Protection and Firefighters strengthened the protection of public and commercial spaces to prevent acts of robbery and safeguard the population, as well as working on the removal of vehicles on fire to restore traffic. In a preliminary manner, the presence of individuals who threw, this might be a bad translation here because it's a computer-generated translation, who threw punching artifacts was reported on the Tipic Puerto Vallarta route at the height of the Ameca Bridge. Vehicle fires on different roads, disruptions in commercial plazas such as Costco and Plaza Caracol, as well as establishments in Iztapa, Las Fuentes, and Arama. Punching artifacts might be things like tire spikes, maybe puncturing artifacts rather than punching. Damages were also registered in 2 fruit stores on the market there's a street here called December 5th, the nonviolent robbery of 2 trucks from a soda company in Las Juntas, and the fire of a business, I guess arson of a business in the northern hotel zone with no reported hotels affected. The municipal government maintains permanent coordination with the 3 government orders and will continue to report in a timely manner. The priority is to safeguard the integrity and tranquility of Vallarta families. He retweeted the thing, reposted the tweet from the president that we mentioned here. The Centro Universitario, the University de la Costa, stated, please be informed that there is no fire in the Centro Universitario de la Costa. The image circulating on networks does not correspond to our facilities. The situation is calm and under control. We recommend that you only pay attention to information published in official media. We appreciate your attention. And there we go. Hopefully the municipal government of Puerto Vallarta says, facing the events registered in different points in the state of Jalisco, the Puerto Vallarta International Airport reported that its internal operation and security within its facilities have not been affected. However, due to the decision of the airlines, all international flights and most domestic flights have been canceled today. It's recommended that passengers stay in communication with their airlines to know the status of their itineraries. There's also a statement from the Secretary of National Defense that was put out. Of course, again, the statement unfortunately is in a full document that is in Spanish, and I don't have the means to translate it for you here. Another one from the municipal government here says that the municipal government of Puerto Vallarta informs that as a preventive measure and in response to what was announced by Governor Pablo Lemos, face-to-face classes at all educational levels will be suspended. So that's something we had mentioned before. Yeah, so that's about the most I can get off the page from the mayor on the pages from the government. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd situation, I have to say, kids and cubs. Like I said, we seem to be, again, maybe Beaver Sweetie seems to be a little more calm about it than I am. You have some observations, Ed, please?
Hello. Hello. Observations to add from the roof.
Louder.
Hello. Observations to add from the roof. I saw about 40 minutes ago military helicopter overhead, and then I saw an empty bus being escorted by 4 military vehicles on the main highway, like the highway to Miss Maloya. And then since then, I've been seeing traffic on the main road. So what that means, I don't really know. I've just been seeing more traffic, including taxis, which are supposed to not be running. And I checked Uber, still no rides available. So I guess that's still shut down. Um, this question for you, Mr. Beaver: is the shelter-in-place order still active?
I've not been able to find that out whatsoever.
That's fine.
Yeah, I've gone to the state government, the governor of the state, and the mayor's all the socials, and there's no indication. I've gone through the Google search and asked whether or not the code red was still in effect, and there seems to be nothing at the moment. No. But thanks, because I was just reporting that they were doing that they were cleaning up places where the cars and stuff like that had been set on fire to restore traffic and circulation. So
That would be my hypothesis of what those 4 military vehicles were, that they were cleaning up the road and making sure it's okay before traffic started. Uh, Interestingly, one of the first bits of traffic was like about 20 motorcycles going in formation. So like, oh, okay. But yeah, some sort of life seems to be returning, but as you say, shelter in place might still be happening. So I guess until we hear the orders rescinded, shelter in place.
shelter in place. Thanks, my love.
Yeah, welcome.
Very see, there we go. Fortunately, you're where we're staying, without giving too much information. Yeah, we can from the roof. We have a certain vantage point where we can see a couple of things. I don't know if there's anything going down in the little community where we are. The place that maybe Verspeedy is talking about is a pretty high traffic area and major avenue. So that's what's going on over there. A couple of other places have some news. Don't know how current or different it is from what we have going on here, but according to global news, says here, come on, work with me. An article here that says Canadians say Puerto Vallarta a war zone amid escalating violence. This is by Sean Preville of Global News. Canadians stranded in Puerto Vallarta amid escalating violence in Mexico's Jalisco state stay while they're feeling calm, locked down in their hotels. The surrounding area looks like a war zone. Shelter-in-place order has been issued to the city, with the state's governor saying federal forces carry out an operation in Tapalpa early Sunday morning, leading to clashes in the area. Quote, people are mostly common, just staying tight and sort of maybe a bit quieter than usual and are trying to figure out what's really going on, said Jeff Willis, a man from Manitoba currently staying in Puerto Vallarta. But behind our unit, you can see multiple areas of smoke, and it looks like a war zone. Willis said he is staying in the city near the Marina, about 10 minutes from the airport, which has been shut down. That's a different part of the city completely from where we are at, and that we can't see from where we are. He told Global News he was notified by WestJet that his flight was canceled. Jalisco State Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro said in a post on social media a few hours after he reported the operation, he had given the order to activate a code red. He said vehicles have been burned and blocked in some places to hinder the actions of authorities. Then, of course, there's all the news about Global Affairs Canada. The smell from the fires has been noticeable, but Global BC producer Joan Marshall said in an interview from her hotel near the city's marina, there were also weird sounds. Quote, you hear sirens quite a bit because there's a hospital nearby, but there were some really weird car racing sounds now that I think back. And there were a lot of sirens after that, Marshall said. Then I got up and looked outside and I thought, it's that haze in the air. That's the word I was looking for. It was hazy. And it turned out walking outside, it was smoke from all the fires, and you could smell this really acrid odor. Steve Mossop said he's also stranded in Puerto Vallarta and though he told Global News he feels safe in his hotel, added, quote, it's an eerie situation. Yes, that's another word, a good word for it. See, my words have been failing. I have not been able to figure out haze and eerie, which are words that I have used in the past, and I access regularly my vocabulary, but they have been failing me. Quote, there's thick smoke lingering in the air, and it's a bit of an eerie feeling given the tourist city that Puerto Vallarta is, who was visiting, said Mossop, who was visiting from Vancouver. He said he's been in the city for the past week and a half, but now he's not sure when they'll get out, given flights have been canceled. While some Canadians say they overall feel safe, Melissa Goodboo from Chilliwack, BC said she's feeling unsettled. I think that's how I'm feeling. Quote, I'm starting to feel a little bit anxious, definitely very unsettled. I'm here with my kids, my whole family. What's really kind of alarming is that the resort seems to be carrying on like normal. It's largely Mexican nationals staying here, and they're still carrying on, swimming in the pool, playing ping pong like it's another day. On one hand, it seems safe, but on the other hand, definitely not at all. WestJet, Porter Airlines, Air Canada, and Air Transat, and of course Flair Airlines, because that's who we were traveling with, have all confirmed to Global News that flights to and from Puerto Vallarta on Sunday have been canceled. WestJet said it has also canceled 24 added flights to the city, as well as Guadalajara and Manzanillo. According to the Mexican embassy in the U.S., the military operation on Sunday was conducted to achieve the arrest of El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. Officials say during the operation, military personnel were attacked and they responded. As a result, 4 members of the cartel died at the scene and 3 others were severely wounded. Officials said they died during an airlift to Mexico City. Quote, among the latter is Mencho. However, the corresponding authorities will be in charge of the forensic activities to confirm his identification. Those who were traveling to the airport were greeted by some unexpected sights. Randy Schmaltz, a Vancouver man who lives part-time in Puerto Vallarta and is a private driver in the city, said he saw spikes thrown on the roads as he drove some people to the airport. So that's what I'm saying, maybe the puncturing devices. Quote, I did make it there and back without a flat. I was quite happy about that, he told Global News. It's eerie, it's scary. He said in an interview Sunday that restaurants and stores were all closed, adding that he'd never seen a situation like this in Puerto Vallarta. Not this one, never here, he said. People in the state are being urged by the Canadian government to keep a low profile, follow the advice of local authorities, and monitor local and international media to stay informed. So we have that here. That has a little bit more information than we had before that I could bring you with regard to that. I'm going to check a couple of other places to see whether or not there's some additional information. Maybe we can find out a little bit more about the code red. According to CBC, somebody who you know if you've been following the show for a while, Murray Billett. We did an interview with him a couple of years ago for the 35th anniversary of the Delwyn Rind case that made discrimination based on sexual orientation illegal in Canada, prohibited grounds under our Constitution. He is here on the trip and had talked to CBC a little bit today. My Beaver sweetie had let me know that. So hopefully I can get that to you here. But this is stuff from CBC here. So we have the basic information that we mentioned here, and then some accounts. Owen Duffy, Canadian on vacation in Puerto Vallarta, told CBC News Network he's been seeing plumes of smoke from almost every direction, quote, since this morning. He sent to CBC a video shot from inside the condo where he's sheltering in place, showing a bus in flames, quote, about 6 or 7 guys showed up on motorcycles. They came up to a bus that had been parked there for more than 2 hours, went on, lit up some Molotov cocktails and set the bus on fire, he said. Duffy, who said he's come to Puerto Vallarta almost every year since 1987, said he feels secure at the moment but worries about how things will play out. Quote, what I'm more concerned about is what's going to happen as darkness falls tonight, to see if it gets worse than it is now. I actually hadn't considered that. Oh boy. From Tessa Vikander, CBC. Puerto Vallarta is famous for being welcoming a destination to the 2S LGBTQ plus community, especially for gay men. Yogi Omar, a queer Vancouverite who is visiting for his birthday, describes it as a, quote, little slice of heaven. While it's known for its party scene, the area is rich in culture and art, and there's something for everyone, he says. Quote, there's not so many places we can just exist authentically, he says. I can just be. I don't have to explain. I don't have to justify. That said, today's violence has shaken that sense of safety, and that's one of the reasons Puerto Vallarta is one of the only sun destinations that I like, because I'm not really a sun destination guy, but we do get to be ourselves. I can walk hand in hand with my Beaver sweetie on the street. We can be on the beach, and I can give him a kiss whenever I want to, and it's just not a big deal. There are bars that cater to us. There are hospitals that cater to us. Yesterday, we were walking through the city, and there was a medical clinic that had a gay pride flag, and it said heterosexual friendly as well. So, uh, it, it's a nice place to come if you're a member of the community and you want to get away and you want to have the experience of being in another culture, because we actually are literally in a neighborhood where Mexicans live, but still feel free to be yourself. By Mark Gullum, 34 minutes ago. Benny Daniel from Texas spends half the year in Puerto Vallarta. He told CBC News that when he was on his rooftop earlier in the day, he saw dozens and dozens of fires. He said it was, quote, pretty nerve-wracking hearing explosions and gunshots, but said he feels safe inside his house. John Peñado, who is a resident of Puerto Vallarta, said in the 23 years he's lived there, he's never seen anything like this. Quote, this place is really safe, and today really, really shocked me, he said. Peñado is currently staying at Danielle's house. He wanted to travel where his ranch is located, which is where his wife and kids are, but the bridge to the area was blown up. Okay. Quote, I just happened to look out my window and I saw him walking because he couldn't get home, Danielle said. So I yelled at him through the window. I was like, John, hey, get up here with me. Peñado says he believes the violence will soon simmer down. Quote, I don't think it will last very long. I think it's just their way of expressing their anger, the cartels. Maybe, but when you take out the big guy, it could be a little more than temporary anger. According to Ana Komnenich, police in Cancun, Mexico are urging the public to avoid sharing unverified information, noting the spread of false information in a notice reposted to Facebook by the mayor of Benito Juarez municipality, where Cancun is located. Police say they're conducting surveillance and operation actions and are urging people to stay informed through official sources. Public Safety Agency for the state of Quintana Roo has also posted a warning about disinformation on its Facebook, writing that verified information saves lives and misinformation puts people at risk. It's unclear exactly what false information has been spreading, but the agency posted an image of a notice about 4 p.m. mandatory curfew with the words false written over top. Cancun is the most populous city in the state. Here's the one with Murray. It's from 2 hours ago. And this is from Iman Jan Mohammed. It was a reporter following the story from Edmonton. CBC News spoke to Edmontonian Murray Billett, who is vacationing in Puerto Vallarta. He said he's been visiting the region regularly since the 1990s. The events unfolding in the region were not anticipated by tourists, Billett said. Quote, what we're seeing is history in the making, he said. We're seeing for the first time the power of the cartel versus the power of the administration of the Mexican government. Billett said some people he knows are saying they will be hesitant to travel to Puerto Vallarta again after Sunday's events. The cost to most importantly, the families that count on us tourists to pay their wages and may lift this town up. That's the heartbreaking part of all of this, he said. I believe there might be a longer article. No, than that. No, it's just little snippets here. So yeah, that's about stuff that we have here. According to Mark Golem, this isn't the first time that violence has erupted over the arrest of a Mexican drug lord. In 2019, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, the son of jailed drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, was briefly detained by Mexican security forces in the northwestern Mexican city of Culiacan. His detainment prompted hundreds of cartel henchmen to overwhelm the security forces. He was quickly released by orders of then-President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. He later acknowledged he released Guzman Lopez to end the violent retribution. In January 2023, Guzman Lopez was arrested again in Culiacan. That arrest sparked another rampage of violence in the city that left 30 people dead, including 10 military personnel. During that violence, Mexico's army used Black Hawk helicopter gunships against the cartel's truck-mounted 50 caliber machine guns, the Associated Press reported. And it says here that the president, of course, calls for calm. So yeah, Yeah, it's a little disconcerting for sure. Looking at the Puerto Vallarta News Daily. Um, yeah, just a little brief that explains why it is that the violence is taking place. According to CBC News' Jorge Barrera, it says here, violence roiled several states across Mexico, including Jalisco and its coastal city of Puerto Vallarta, as Mexican authorities confirmed that the leader of one of the country's most powerful criminal organizations had died following a clash with special forces operatives. Smoke from burning vehicles blackened the sky in Puerto Vallarta, a popular tourist destination spot with a coastline along the Pacific Ocean. Similar scenes played out in Guadalajara, the capital of Jalisco, and across several states on Sunday morning. Several airlines canceled flights. Just seeing if there's anything new that I've not stated before in here. There are currently 18,703 Canadians registered as being in Mexico, including 4,672 in Jalisco State, according to Global Affairs Canada. That's a lot of us. So yeah, that might make it tricky to get out of here. Yes. So yeah, that's about the only new piece of information that I've been able to get from that particular article. And then there's something in the Toronto Star updated 10 minutes ago, maybe a little more than 10 minutes ago, based on the time I actually had initially clicked on it. See if there's anything new here. It's not yet clear if there are any civilian injuries from the violence, according to, let's see who's the reporter here, Alexa Mackey and Sadine Moslin, sorry. So talking about the canceled public safety, public transportation here. It says earlier on Sunday, the Mexican army killed El Mencho, the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel, an anonymous federal official who was not permitted to speak publicly, told the Associated Press. The cartel is responsible for aggressive attacks on Mexico's military. The U.S. State Department has previously offered a reward of up to $15 million for information leading to the arrest of El Mencho. The operation of the cartel leader's death was followed by several hours of burning vehicles, roadblocks across Jalisco and other states, tactics commonly used by cartels to block military operations. Video circulating online also shows smoke billowing over Puerto Vallarta skies and people sprinting through the airport in a panic. Following the news, several Canadian airlines began canceling their flights into the Puerto Vallarta airport. Brian Cicero, a Puerto Airlines spokesperson, confirmed to the Star that its Puerto Vallarta operations were suspended due to, quote, airport restrictions. In addition, two Puerto Vallarta round-trip flights from Ottawa and Toronto were canceled Sunday, but passengers are currently being offered complimentary flight changes through February 25th, Cicero said. Well, they're getting complimentary flight changes way before we did, because ours is March 3rd. An Air Canada spokesperson said it has temporarily suspended operations today, including the cancellation of 3 flights and 2 and 3 flights from Puerto Vallarta to and from Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, representing just under 500 customers in total each way. Of those flights, 2 were airborne and turned around mid-flight to Toronto and Montreal, carrying 331 passengers. Air Canada continues to monitor the situation and is in contact with Transport Canada and local authorities, the spokesperson said. All Flair airline flights to and from Puerto Vallarta have been canceled until further notice, a spokesperson told the Star. We are rebooking customers on flights as they become available. We can't know when people will be able to return since that depends on airport authorities. Looking to escape Ottawa's bitter winter, Stacey Douglas arrived at an all-inclusive Puerto Vallarta resort with her husband and 2 kids on February 15th. After enjoying her time basking in the sun along the beach, Douglas is now unsure when her family will return to Canada. Quote, when we woke up this morning, we looked out of our hotel window and we saw all these fires all over the city and up in the mountains, she said. We arrived in the lobby this morning to head to the airport. We found a lot of people here because no shuttles, taxis, or Ubers were leaving. Her family's WestJet flight was canceled, and she has not received an update from the airline about when it could be rebooked. WestJet did not immediately respond to the star's request for comment. Douglas estimates that there are about 300 people in similar situations crowded into her hotel lobby. She said her family and other Canadian tourists have found good camaraderie, promising to share their respective airline plans and updates. Quote, "We're just sort of in this limbo state," Douglas said. "I imagine it's all going to be fine. People here seem confident that the cartel is not interested in hurting tourists, but we're still sitting in an exposed lobby, and there's no getting in or out." The family was originally planning to travel to Cuba, but pivoted to Puerto Vallarta amid Cuba's ongoing fuel shortage crisis. On Saturday, Georgetown, Ontario resident Lynn Hanna arrived at the resort located a half hour away from Puerto Vallarta for a friend's destination wedding. Only now the bride and groom are stuck in Edmonton with a canceled flight. Sitting inside the resort lobby with other Canadians, Hannah was watching the Olympic men's hockey game Sunday morning when the cable suddenly turned off after the first period. It hasn't turned back on since. That's when she first heard of the violence erupting in Puerto Vallarta through concerned text messages from her friends stuck in Edmonton. Quote, "Not everyone knows what's going on," Hannah said, adding that an airport shuttle bus left earlier in the day with other guests. The staff aren't able to leave, the new staff aren't able to come in, and she waits for more news. Hannah has been stocking up on water and a few other necessities inside her room. So yeah, kids and cubs, I think that's all I have for now, so I am going to sign off. Thank you for checking in on the episode. Thank you for your messages of encouragement and support and concern. They are very appreciated. I'm not going to do the usual sign off that we hope that you enjoyed listening to us because we enjoyed making this for you. Because there's no joy in what's going on, but there is there's gratitude for your concern, and that you would enjoy me, that you would join me here in order to spend a little time, which is kind of interesting because yes, it's what do you put it? I can't say it takes my mind off it because I'm talking about it, but because I'm sharing this with you, I'm not thinking so much about me, which is nice at this particular time. So there we go. Seeing some interesting comments in the chat. That's okay. There's some dark humor there. That's a little funny. Yes, Kit Miss here. I'm so happy that we were at the airport when when things got taken over. Well, like I said, over here, fortunately, it looks like the airport here didn't get taken over. The one in Guadalajara had some stuff because here the airport is really close to a defense installation. So that is that's good. But I'm glad I wasn't in a taxi or in an Uber on the way to the airport at the time. But we weren't that far off. I think we had called for one to arrive around 10:30, right, my love? And I think it was around it was close to around 10, I guess. A little earlier, 9:30, around 9 when we found out. Okay, so yeah, an hour and a half later, we would have.
We got lucky because our flight got delayed.
Yes, exactly. We got lucky. Yeah, you're right. It's true. We got lucky because our flight got delayed because we were going to. Otherwise, we would have been in a taxi that time. So I guess yes, there was no real risk of us being in a taxi and an Uber because we found out that our flight was delayed based on the mechanical or technical issue that happened in Toronto with our plane before we heard news of this. So yes, indeed, you're right. Thank you. Time is getting a little jumbled here. Yeah, Kit Linda, welcome to life when you're not a privileged foreigner who can leave when you want. That's true. see what else here. Kit Tim here said, I did a quick search and figured it out, but just didn't know how entrenched the cartels were, or assumed that it was overhyped by movies. No, they're very entrenched here. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. But yeah, Puerto Vallarta, as people mentioned, is very, very safe. And often when we hear about violence in Mexico, it's more on the East Coast, Cancun and Acapulco and stuff like that. But there's almost never anything on the Pacific Coast at all. So yeah, it's said normally when we're Puerto Vallarta, there is nowhere in the area where we're staying that we don't feel that we can walk on the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning and not have to look over our shoulder. It is very, very, very safe. So yeah, lots of offers to help kids and cubs. Thank you. Don't think we will need, for example, to you guys to send any money to help us with what's going on. We have credit cards. The bank account is fine. It's just getting to one at the moment while Code Red is on if we would need it. And even if we would, everything's closed, so there's nowhere to spend the money at the moment. So again, listen, right now the main concern for us indeed is, as mentioned in the story, what will happen when night falls and food, because we can't acquire any at the moment, and literally it's going to be nacho chips and guac, and maybe some toffee fay that we have, and that's it. And again, Silver Lions, at least we have dessert. But as usual, of course, Kids and Cubs, if you would like to support the show, of course, we would be very happy to receive a contribution. But I feel even awkward asking you to make a contribution to the Emergency Hydration Fund for the show today, because I didn't actually provide you with any news on Canadian politics and stuff of the sort. It was mostly to give you all a heads up that we are safe and in a safe place, so that you do not have to worry. So yeah, that was the main part. I just didn't want you to be too worried, and I wanted you to see me, proof of life type thing, and hear it from my voice rather than just written word. And so that you can see our face and see what state that we are in, to know that you don't have to worry too much now. I just wanted to for you guys to have peace of mind as well. Yeah. If you want to, Kids and Cubs, or if you're listening and you haven't yet, you'll see the QR code here for our YouTube page. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. It helps us with the algorithm. Like and share. Also, if you want to click the buttons and then smash with them, very, very, it helps us out a lot. We would appreciate it. Again, feel very weird doing this, but there is the QR code that will bring you to our coffee page, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. That's where the emergency hydration fund is. If you want to donate, please donate based on past shows, because you like what we do. I want to encourage us to do more, but please do not make a donation today because of this particular situation. Like I said, we are not strapped. We don't need you to part with your money for that purpose. Okay, I just want to be very clear on that, and because I know that you are very generous and very kind and very given, but you need your money too. So, so if it's for anything else involved with the show, as you normally would do or would be inclined to do, fine, but not because of the situation. We are okay, right? I just want to be very, very, very clear on that. So yeah. That's what we have today. won't do the democracy something that you do. Again, this is not that kind of show, but words of wisdom. When the poop hits the proverbial fan, deep breaths, uh, letting your rational mind try to take precedence over your emotions, because when your emotions are making you go a mile a minute and you start to ruminate, that impedes your ability to think clearly or to think creatively if you need to get out of a situation. So, and you do not want to be in a situation where you're either spinning around or I don't know what to do. You want to be able to try and figure out a way out. Sometimes figuring the way out is to do nothing, because sometimes it is safer not to move, which is the case here. Sometimes you want to try to make things happen, or try to fix things. So you start to take a step, which only leads to something terrible happening, which you then take another step to try to fix, and then the thing gets worse and it starts to snowball. So sometimes the appropriate thing is to be able to remain calm enough, to be rational enough to realize that it might not be time to try and force stuff to make something happen. Sometimes you do have to do that. Sometimes you gotta get on the phone and insist and say, no, that's unacceptable, make this happen. Um, like today we were thinking about it at first before we got information. We were with the airline saying, but you have a responsibility to get us on the first available flight, even if it's not with your airline. What is this March 3rd thing? And then as we were reading more and seeing that certain airports were closed and you couldn't get any taxis, and that there were things like this going on in at least 21 different regions, and it was all across the country. It's like there is no other airline with which we can get out, and maybe we'll take a bus to Mexico City, and maybe we can get out from there. Getting on a bus, probably not your best idea at the moment. So sometimes it is just stay put until something better comes along, but you have to have the clarity of thought to do that. So deep breaths, letting your rational mind take over your emotions rather than the other way around. Staying calm, trying to find the dark humor in the situation so you can share a laugh. Hopefully, like it is in my case, you have someone you love and care about close by, so you can get a hug when you need one. I could use one. Sweetie. So we'll be taking care of that as soon as I sign off. But yeah, that's it. Those are my words of wisdom today. In a crisis, calm will serve you better than panic, and that's what we're trying to practice today. Kids and cubs, it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Don't know if I will be able to do a show tomorrow in any way, shape, or form. There is lots of news to talk about, and of course, if you've watched the hockey game this morning, I really do not like instant 3-on-3 overtime. Just, it's like, just let them play hockey. Stop changing the rules or coming up with new gimmicks. Just let them play hockey. I even prefer to shootout to 3-on-3 overtime, but it's like there should have been a full period, at least a 5-on-5, right? Because it was a good game, and let's see if they can win or lose actually playing the game. On the upside, however, the men's curling team yesterday, this might be a little sacrilege because Canada is a hockey country, and a lot of people say that's the medal that matters, but for me as a curler, it's the curling medals that matter. So Team Brad Jacobs with the golden curling, and Brad Jacobs with his second curling gold at the Olympics. So that's kind of cool for him. And Rachel Homan, that team, finally getting the proverbial monkey off the back, because she had been to the Olympics twice and not medaled. And that bronze must have felt very, very, very sweet, especially with how both of them played those matches. Rachel Homan with that 4 in the 6th end, and then Brad Jacobs in a very, very tight match, scoring that 3 in the ninth, which really sealed the deal for it. So yeah, indeed, and of course, as you know, with the hockey stuff, kids and Cubs, it's not the loss. We're big boys, big girls, and big everything in between. We can take the loss and accept that and move on. It is going to be the incessant, poor, ungracious, and poor sportsmanship, or poor winners stuff behavior from all the MAGA online that is going to be continuously going on, and them trying to rub our noses in it. We knew that that was going to happen. That's the part that's going to be the more difficult to endure. But again, just write it off. If you can't be gracious in victory, then right, it says more about you than it says about us. But yeah, that's going to be. Admittedly, it's a slightly bitter pill to swallow because when we did win the Four Nations thing, there was a little bit more than hockey going on for us. So odds are that for them, there was a little bit more than hockey going on as well. Hopefully, we were more dignified when we won than we are seeing here in that case. But grit your teeth and bear it. It's probably going to be going on for a while. But on the upside, if Donald Trump keeps on saying, hey, if we make a deal with China, they're going to come away and end hockey, now that the United States has won the 2 gold medals, maybe we can ask why it is that Donald Trump is still making deals with China. Does he not fear now that China is going to come away and take away hockey now that they've won the golds? Who knows? Maybe he will fight to preserve hockey and want to make a deal. Who knows? It could happen. Okay, that's all the politics I got for you today. Kids and Cubs, at the count of 3, all together, and with some feeling. Could I get a Mr. Beaver? Please cue the cock. On 1, 2, and 3. I hear you. I heard the feeling. I got the love. Thank you so much. And here we go. Can't deny you. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music. Just saw in the chat here from Kit Uncover, stating that the government of Jalisco says that looting and damage occurred at 69 OXXO convenience stores today. You mentioned that they seem to have been particularly targeted. Again, I don't know if there's any link between them and the government, or again, because they're a source of food, and make it such that in a situation like this, if people were going to go and stock up on a couple of things quickly to make that impossible in order to increase pressure on the state by increasing pressure on the people. So yeah. Canadians who make us proud, all our Olympians and their coaches and support staff and everyone from their communities who helped them get there and helped them realize their dream. Thank you. Thank you for done everything that you have done to create some wonderful memories for us that we will get to enjoy for the next 4 years. And we get a couple of weeks off, and then the fun starts again as our para-athletes, the Paralympians, take to the stage, and we will be looking forward to that. So, yeah, today, all the love and all the shout-outs for our Olympians and the entire team. All right. Amore besitos. And hopefully hasta mañana. Thanks for the love, kids. And let's see what the night brings.